If you leave the office and every day is kids until you go to sleep, and then on the weekends it's kids from wake up till kids till you go to bed, I'm begging you, make time for yourself. Make time for something you enjoy. And I'm not talking about that 45-minute or hour-long Pilates class, or the yoga class, or the workout, or the Orange Theory, or whatever it might be. Find a hobby you like and do it. A few hours a week minimum. Find some quiet time and close the door and read a book. Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of your 5-Minute Friday. Today, I want to talk about mental health and stress, but not in the way you think. We've talked about it at great length, and everybody out there knows, and I'm going to say it again because it bears repeating. If you are struggling with depression and you feel like you're really having a hard time and you're having trouble holding on, please reach out to me on Facebook or just email me at glenn@kriegermail.com, Krieger mail, mail.com, not MALE, that'd be a really weird email. Reach out to me. I'm always here for you. But let's go a little step further. I've had the privilege, and it's a true privilege, being 55 years old at this time, to spend a lot of my education, my growth, my friendships, going to meetings with people who are millennials, people in their mid-30s, late 30s, early 40s. And I've had a chance to listen to all of you and observe you and learn from you and see what you're doing in your day-to-day life. I'm partners with one. And I want to reiterate something because it's not a bad thing, but the millennial generation, it's been proven that, and you've heard me say it 1,000 times, that you spend more time on and with your children than any generation before you. And if your parents spent as much time with you as you did with your kids, that's a rarity. It's a rarity. Generally, my generation, Gen Xers, our parents said, go out and play. Get out of here. Sit in front of the TV if you want to. Here's a Betamax if you want to go watch a movie, or a Panasonic OmniVision, right? But we're not going to coddle you. And you're not going to a million things. You're not doing football and gymnastics and soccer and lacrosse and ice skating and all the other things that are going on right now. And I'm watching all the terrible things we have to deal with in practice today, a work environment where the team members who are coming in are not the team members that were in my father's practice back in the 60s and 70s, okay? Not even the same as the 80s or 90s. It's just different. And competition is way tighter than it was 20, 30, 40 years ago on every level. And social media has only made things worse. And I was talking to a friend of mine who's a millennial mom, and she said there's this incredible pressure that you feel through social media to be that perfect mom or that perfect dad, and my kids have to do this. Gosh, you know how many social media stories and feeds I see of yours that only feature your children? I don't even know what you like. I don't even know what you do. All I see is what your kid had for lunch, or them playing football, or them doing something. So my point here is this. You're a great parent. I haven't met one orthodontist, millennial, that I've met, who I've talked to, I would ever consider less than a great parent. But you're also, as a generation, more stressed and dealing with more anxiety and more depression than any generation before you. Life is coming at you really fast, and you have all these social pressures that, frankly, I don't give a crap what I see on social media, because I was raised in an era where, it didn't matter, but you weren't. And unfortunately, you are more stressed as a group than anybody before you. Go look at the dentists and orthodontists who are 60 years old. They are not as stressed as you are. And they weren't as stressed as you are at your stage of the game, and they were as successful. But again, competition was less, the team members were less. But the problem is, for many of you, and I'll say it again because I've talked about this before, you're not making enough time for you. And please don't give me this garbage of it's hard to be a dad or a mom and run a practice. My mom was an attorney with MS, went back to school when I was 10 years old. She did not get as stressed out as today's people are, right? Why? Because she had the ability to say to me, go play with your friends, get out of the house. Oh, you don't have anything to do? Go clean the windows, right? It wasn't scheduling all the time. And she had an ability to focus on her. And I'm begging each and every one of you, please, the whole message of this 5-Minute Friday isn't to tell you to spend less time with kids, though I think for many out there, it's an almost pathological amount of time you're spending and engaging. And again, the studies are now coming out. It's not doing them any favors. And we all complain about bulldozer parents who are there for their kids all day long. And some of us are guilty of that. And so my kids are now 23, 19, and 19. They're older. I'm past that stage. But I'm begging you, please, If you leave the office and every day is kids until you go to sleep, and then on the weekends it's kids from wake up till kids till you go to bed, I'm begging you, make time for yourself. Make time for something you enjoy. And I'm not talking about that 45-minute or hour-long Pilates class or the yoga class or the workout or the Orange Theory or whatever it might be. Find a hobby you like and do it. A few hours a week minimum. Find some quiet time and close the door and read a book, right? And right now, many of you rolled your eyes. Read a book? Who has time for that, right? I want you, I'm begging you, for your own sake. I don't get anything out of it, but it's your mental health we're talking about here. And the burnout rates are starting to increase dramatically. And I'm begging you, please, just spend time on yourself, right? It's so important for you to find something that you love and you do. Because I'm telling you now, an extra hour, hour and a half, or 2 hours a day less with your child is not going to affect their development long term. The studies are clear, crystal clear. But that 2 hours a day you spend for yourself, maybe just sitting in front of the TV with your spouse, watching your favorite series, while the kids are still awake, playing by themselves in another room, I think it's going to make a big difference for you. And so I say this with love. I say it with kindness. I say it most importantly with respect, because I respect you as a human being and I respect what you're doing as a parent. But please, please, please recognize, I hear comments about all day long from all of you about how much time you spend with your kids. I see your social media feeds and all it is your kids. And then I hear you talk about how stressed out you are and the medication you need to be on and the anxiety you have. And there's no shame in asking for help when you're anxious or depressed. And we all know that. Thank God that stigma is gone. But at the same time, sometimes you're not doing yourself any favors. So please, please, please reevaluate fairly like you would anything in your life. If the amount of time you're giving yourself is fair, and if it isn't, remember, put on your oxygen mask before you put on that of a loved one. And for many of you, that means creating that time to do that thing that you love that takes you to your happy place. As Vince Pacente told us once at our virtual summit a few years ago, right? Where is your high passion, high knowledge area, and live there? I'm going to give you one quick exercise here that he teaches in his great book, The Ant and the Elephant. I want you to think about your life 20 years from now. And this is his exercise, and I'm not doing it justice. But think about your dream life 20 years from now, right? And if you're driving right now, don't do it right now. You need to be in a quiet place. But close your eyes and dream of where you are when life is perfect, right? You're done practicing, or you have all the money you need. Maybe your kids are grown. Maybe you don't have kids. And where are you? What are you doing? What does it feel like? Is there sun beating down? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? What does it look like? What does it taste like? What does it sound like, right? And Vince has you put a little gold dot on your laptop, on your desktop, on your monitor, at your perch, on your stick shift of your car, so that every time you see that gold dot, it brings back those visceral feelings of where you want to be and what it looks like, feels like, sounds like, hears, tastes like, and that'll connect your body to your dream. And whatever that is, find that time every day to start working towards it for yourself, or to put yourself in that state to where you feel so good about you and your life and all those things. And again, I'm not a mental health specialist. Lord knows I've spent enough time with them, because I really always believe in working on oneself before you can work on somebody else. But again, I'm begging you all. On one side of the equation is how much time you're spending with others, and on the other side of the equation is how stressed out you are. You can't control certain things. You can't control your team members coming and going like honeybees. And you can't control the competitive nature of the ortho world. And you can't change the increased overhead issues that we all face no matter what. But you can change the time you create for yourself. And if you think you can't, right, that's pathologic. You can. Unless you are a single parent, barely making ends meet, who can't afford to get help, who can't afford to do anything, unfortunately, like many of our team members that we have to be cognizant of. Right? We gotta always remember that many of them are hanging on by their fingernails. But for most of you listening here right now, that's not your life, and you can create more time, and I'm begging you to do it. So, one place you can have lots of time next year is Orthopreneurs Summit at Sea, and you can even bring the kids. There's a kids club, right? There's a kids club on Royal Caribbean that you can put them on. It's a 1,000-foot long boat. You can bring your kids, have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with them. Go get spa session while they're in kids club. Go sit at the adults only pool while they're in kids club. And just enjoy yourself. So go to opsummit2024.com. So many people are bringing families. Which, by the way, don't take this message as being anti-family, because I'll spend time with my kids whenever I can. They're grown, right? But bring your kids, bring your spouse, or don't bring your kids and don't bring your spouse, and just have a great time. But the lectures are going to be life-changing, and I promise you, this is going to be one of those meetings that you're going to come away from and be thankful you attended. opsummit2024.com. Can't wait to see you there. Much love to each and every one of you, and please accept the spirit of this message, of what I've given you, in the way it's intended, which is love, compassion, and an outside observer who's watching what's going on and hoping and praying that you can get the help you need by helping yourself. All right? I'm always here for you. Hit me up with a message if you need me. I always want to support you and make you as healthy as you can be. Have a great one.